If you're anxious, gaining belly fat, waking up wired at 3 a.m., and can't recover from workouts, your cortisol is probably running too high for too long. Here are 5 things with peer-reviewed research behind them for restoring healthy cortisol rhythm. One of them has multiple meta-analyses showing it moves cortisol as much as some prescriptions. Some quick framing first, because most content on cortisol treats it like a villain, and that framing is wrong. Cortisol is essential. It wakes you up. It mobilizes energy. It manages inflammation. It coordinates your immune response. It only becomes problematic when it stays high and never comes back down. Chronic elevation is what drives visceral fat, insulin resistance, muscle loss, thyroid suppression, and eventually adrenal exhaustion. The goal isn't to eliminate cortisol. It's to restore the natural rhythm, high in the morning, low in the evening. The 5 things I'm about to walk you through target 5 different levers: circadian, cardiovascular, autonomic, biochemical, and recovery. Each is simple, free, and compounds when stacked. In quick context, I'm not a doctor. I'm a functional nutrition coach. I've spent years watching clients bring their cortisol back into rhythm with exactly these interventions. So let's dive in. Thing number 1, get sunlight in your eyes within 30 minutes of waking. When your morning cortisol pulse, the cortisol awakening response, rises sharply and then falls cleanly, cortisol tends to stay in a healthy rhythm for the rest of the day. Without morning light, that pulse blunts. Cortisol tends to hang elevated all day. Bright light is the biggest circadian input you have. This has been proven in multiple studies. We're keeping this one really simple because this one's been proven in multiple studies. So thing number 2, Zone 2 cardio, not high intensity interval training. There's a difference for cortisol. Zone 2 is conversational pace, roughly 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. You should be able to hold a conversation while doing it. Zone 2 cardio improves vagal tone. It increases parasympathetic activity and reduces baseline cortisol. HIIT is fantastic for cardiovascular fitness, but it acutely raises cortisol. If your cortisol is already dysregulated, HIIT can make it worse before it makes it better. Zone 2 is what regulates baseline first. San Millan's work popularized this with metabolic health, and Hackney's research documents different cortisol responses to different exercise intensities. This is something that I've recently put into my routine. It's been an absolute game changer for my recovery. My body feels better. I sleep better. I'm less drained from a week of intense workouts. So here's what it actually looks like. 30 to 45 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week of Zone 2. This is walking, cycling, easy jogging. You can add HIIT only after Zone 2 baseline is established, 1 time per week max if cortisol is your primary issue. And just a note, for metabolically healthy people, HIIT is beneficial. I'm not saying don't do it, but if your cortisol is dysregulated, it may be something to cut out for a bit. And thing number 3 is breath work. Nasal breathing with an extended exhale. This is the fastest acting cortisol intervention on the list. Nasal breathing plus a longer exhale, 4-second inhale, 6 to 8-second exhale. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve. It measurably lowers cortisol within minutes. Ma and colleagues in Frontiers in Psychology showed diaphragmatic breathing significantly reduced cortisol in healthy adults. And then there's Balbin and Huberman's 2023 study in Cell Reports Medicine. 5 minutes of cyclic sighing daily improved mood and reduced physiological arousal more than meditation. So here's what to do. 5 to 10 minutes daily, box breathing. 4, 4, 4, 4, or extended exhale, 4, 6, 4, 8. Sit, close your eyes if you can. And thing number 4, ashwagandha, specifically KSM-66, the most studied form. The withanolides, the active compound in ashwagandha, modulate the HPA axis, reducing cortisol output. Of all the supplements marketed for cortisol, ashwagandha by far has the strongest meta-analysis evidence. The 2025 meta-analysis in Nutrition and Health, 7 randomized controlled trials showed cortisol dropped by 1.16 micrograms per deciliter. And the 2025 BJ Psych Open meta-analysis went further with 15 studies. 873 participants showed significant reductions in cortisol and perceived stress and Hamilton anxiety scores. So here's what to do. 300 to 600 milligrams of KSM-66 daily. Take it with food. Effects are typically observable within 4 to 6 weeks. And thing number 5, sleep architecture, not just sleep duration. Cortisol should be at its lowest between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That window is when tissue repair happens, memory consolidates, hormones get produced. Elevated evening cortisol disrupts deep sleep and REM sleep. Both of those further dysregulate the HPA axis. It's a compounding loop. Room temperature, screen exposure, and evening food and drink all affect this. Set the room to 65 to 68 degrees, blackout dark, no screens 60 minutes before bed, last meal 3 or more hours before bed, and no alcohol within 3 to 4 hours before bed. It destroys REM sleep even if you fall asleep faster. Consistency of bedtime matters more than the exact time. And here's a bonus: 4 things to eliminate or reduce. Number 1, caffeine after noon. 6 to 8 hour half-life means afternoon coffee is still active at bedtime. Number 2, alcohol within 3 to 4 hours of bed. It destroys REM sleep even if you fall asleep faster. And 3, doom scrolling and news at night. It floods you with cortisol elevating inputs before bed. And lastly, chronic undereating. I covered this in a previous video. Caloric restriction below maintenance for months is a cortisol driver. So if you take one thing from this video, take this. Cortisol regulation isn't optional if you want long-term high performance. Sunlight, zone 2, breath work, ashwagandha, sleep architecture, 5 levers, each with peer-reviewed evidence. And if you want to start asking better questions about your own body and finally get to the root of your chronic health issues, make sure to subscribe. We're on a mission to help 1 million people get off symptom managing medication and finally heal at the root cause. Click subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you're looking for additional support, potentially working with our functional practice, click the link in the description to schedule a free consultation.